Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video, the makeup tutorial is going to be a little bit more lilac-y and lavenderish, and we're going to be using some Raving Beauty cosmetics. Today I decided I wanted to do a bright lip, so if bright lip is not your thing with this look, you can definitely omit it and use something a little bit more nude or close to your lip tone. And then we're going to break out some amethyst, lavenders, and pinks for this tutorial. So if you like the way this eye look appears to you, then stay tuned and keep on watching. Okay, let's get started. Now for this look, I'm going to be using a different primer, and the primer I will be using is by Benefit Cosmetics, and this is called Stay Don't Stray. This is another primer you can use that has kind of a close tint to my skin tone, but you can use it on the eyelid and also bring it all the way around. It's supposed to work 360, so if you're using any primer down or concealer, it's supposed to help keep the concealer from fraying off in addition to your eyeshadow. But anyway, let's get started with the tutorial. As you can see, there's a lot of purples and black and gray, so we're going to be breaking out some Raving Beauty cosmetics. And the very first shade I am going to be using is called Light Pink. And you've seen this in a previous tutorial that I did for Valentine's Day. Now the brush I will be using is actually a one I picked up from Raving Beauty Cosmetics, and this is their wet dry brush. It's called a foiling brush, and this brush is very flat and stiff, so really it's a great brush to pack on a lot of color. Again, if you want a really foiled and intense look with the eyeshadow, you can use the shadows wet with the foiling brush. Otherwise, in this case, I'm going to be using the shadows dry. Now, before we apply the eyeshadow on, I am actually going to put a base on my lid. I found that putting a base on with this particular shadow will keep the shadows from creasing and fading off or rolling off. So what I'm going to be using for my base is NYX Cosmetics, and this is their Jumbo Shadow Pencil in Milk. It's just a eyeshadow pencil that's pretty creamy, and it's a great pencil to use to get colors like these to pop a little bit better than what they would on their own. So go ahead and apply this color all over the lid just like so. Also, don't forget about the inner corner of the eye, and also bring that color up to the brow bone area too, because we're going to be taking some of those colors and blending on top. And then what you want to do is just blend on this excess. Now be careful. Since this milk pencil feels kind of creamy and rich, you definitely do not want to apply a lot of this on, otherwise you will have some creasing, let me tell you. Even with the primer on, it will crease. Now I am taking that jumbo pencil, as you can see, and I'm blending it around the corner of my eye as well, because we will be rubbing some shadows along there and dry lining. So there is the eyeshadow blended, or the milk blended. Looks kind of weird, huh? Especially with this new camera. But now we're going to go ahead and take the light pink shadow, tap it off, and we're going to pat it on the lid area just like so. Now once we have the color on the lid like so, we're going to go to a new color. We are going to be using the Sugar Berry. And this one is a matte lilac or lavender tone. I'm going to be using the same wet dry brush, and I'm going to pack on some color onto the lid like so. And then we're going to pat the color on the outer quarter of our eye, so mainly in the outer quarter. And then we're also going to begin to pat a little bit more color above the crease line. This is not going to be a perfect application, so don't worry yourself, because we're going to take a brush and start to blend this color out. So the brush I'm going to be using now that we played with the flat brush, I'm going to go back to my Sigma, and this is the SS224, similar to the MAC 224, just a little shorter, but it's a dome-shaped brush. I'm going to be taking a little bit more of the Sugar Berry and patting the corner, and I'm going to start to blend that color above the crease area like so. I'm also going to take that color and blend it in the inner corner of the eyes and blend it up to, but not all the way to, the brow bone area. I'm grabbing it more and I'm patting it on the outer corner to build up the intensity, and then I'm blending the shadow up like so. So this is going to be our intermediary color or middle color for the eye area, like so. Just make sure you remember to blend in the inner corners. And I'm blending in just little circular motions back and forth on the eye area. And then once we have the color on, I will go back with that flat brush with Sugarberry and just pop a little bit more color just in the crease area of the eye, just to repop this color out a little bit more. And then take that little blending crease brush and blend that out again. Next, I'm going to take a beautiful color. This would make a nice smoky eye as well. This is called Smoke Amethyst. It's also from Raving Beauty, but it's a really beautiful purple amethyst color with a lot of with a little shimmer. And I'm going to take a pencil brush again. This is the SS219 brush, and I'm going to dip a little bit into the lid, and then tap it along the lower lash line like so. I'm going to make a little small V shape here. See that little shape there? And then once I get that shape set, I'm going to grab a little bit more and just use a patting motion. And then we're going to start blending that upward and into the crease area. Don't worry about the fallout. I always suggest to take your eyeshadows and apply them on first before you do any foundation. So that's going to be an easy cleanup. But all I'm simply doing with Smoke Amethyst is just blending it right in the crease just to give the eyeshadow a little bit more definition and just a little bit more interest. And then what I also will do is take the Smoke Amethyst and go ahead and dry line my lower lash line. Just run along the lower lash line just so we have a pop of color underneath there as well. And don't forget to connect in the corners. You don't want to have a gap here unless you're intending to do something a little extra fabulous. Now I'm going to grab my Sigma. This is one of the newer brushes from the 15 Professional piece. This is a tapered blending brush. This is the E25, I believe. And I'm going to take just the tip of the brush and tap just a little bit of the color like so. And then again, just apply a little bit more in the crease area and just blend this color back and forth just in the outer portion of the crease. I just want to intensify that color just a little bit more than what my pencil brush would be willing to do. And then we get to this look right here. Now, I like to add just a little bit more intensity to my shadow. So I'm going to grab, and this is optional. You can stop here if this is enough for you, but I like to get a little bit more intense. I'm going to use the Raving Beauty, and this is the Carbon Shadow. And I'm going to take an angle brush like so. And I'm going to dry line the outer quarter of my eye, so about right here. Take this shadow and just line along the lash line. You should feel your lashes wiggling around. If you do that, it's awesome because the line is staying really close and tight to your lash line and it won't be very fat and thick. But we're going to also take that and just blend up like so. And then we're going to go back and switch to that pencil brush now. I'm grabbing just a little bit more of the Carbon Shadow with the pencil brush now, and I'm just going to take that and blend it and create a little more defined crease area for this eye look. And I do this with my eye open so I can see how far up I want my crease to be. And this is considered like a dry crease line, or a dry cut the crease is what we're doing. And then once you get that line defined, you can always go back and start to blend everything out, which I will do so. I'm just adding a little bit more dark of the carbon in the outer corner just to intensify. And I'm going to grab that tapered crease brush and we're going to simply just blend out some of the edges here. And I'm also going to blend out this inner corner as well. And what I'm doing is blending in tight circular motions and moving that color upward, just so it blends into the amethyst and the other colors we previously used. Last step with this eyeshadow, I'm going to take the angle brush again, and I'm going to line just the lash line, just so I can get a little bit more definition around the lash line. Again, and stay really close to the root of those lashes. And don't forget the inner corner or outer corner of the eye. And then the last thing I'm going to do is line the eye area. I want to take, again, go back to the light pink. Take a little bit off of that with the light pink, and I want to highlight the brow bone area. So I'm just going to take a little bit of color and highlight and blend out any edges from the shadow. Don't forget to go in the inner corners of the eye and blend out that, and move your way back out again. But once you've done this trick, you are done with the eyeshadow look. Of course, we're going to clean that up. But now I want to do is line my eye. I'm going to line my lower lash line using the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide in 0. And it's lining the waterline. And also the inner corner. And then on top, I'm going to be using my Revlon Color Stay liquid liner. And this is in black. I like this one because it has a felt tip marker and it makes it really easy to create a precise line. Now I start from the center and move my way out, and then I'll fill in really close to the lashes, and then I'll also start from the inner corner of the eye like so, and then move my way out to the edges here. Now once we've done that, we are pretty much done with this look. If you have extra fabulous lashes, you can go ahead and just add your mascara. But since mine are not so fabulous, if you can see with this camera, they're very small. I'm going to be adding on my Red Cherries number 43s. And then I'm going to be using my Cargo Lash Activator Mascara. And then I will be right back to show you what I do to my lip and my cheek. Okay, so here's the final look. Added the red cherry lashes and did a little bit more blending in the crease a little bit here, just to deepen up just a little bit more. But what I'll do is show you what I did to my lips and cheeks. Okay, so for my lips and cheeks, I decided I wanted to go a little bolder with the lip. I don't know why, but if you feel like this is a little too much, you can always tweak it to your liking. If anything, you can do more of a softer pink or a nude color on the lips, since the eyes are really fun and colorful. But what I decided to do is break out, I like this lip color. I don't wear it often, but it's a MAC lip color, and it's called Up the Ant. I really love it. It's just very fun and colorful for those days that if you want to have a burst of excitement, this will do it for you. Otherwise, again, if you don't want to have it bright, you can do something a little bit softer, like a lip gloss or something a little bit more toned down to make this a little bit more of the focal point. Or if you like bright lip colors, you can do something a little softer on top and just tone it down on the lips. But I like that one. And to line my lip, I decided to use NYX. And this is their Prune Pencil in Prune. And the color is about like that there. And to add a little bit more definition around the lips, because it's a little darker, I decided to pull out another lip pencil, and it's called NYX, and it's Blackberry. It almost looks like a black. This is a great color if you want to create definition or a pouty dimension to your lip. For my cheeks, I decided to use Lorac Cosmetics. And this is their blush, and it's called Soul. That's the blush there. But I used that one there. And to finish off the face, I decided just to break out my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, and it's the Soft and Gentle. I love this highlighter too, and I simply just use a blush brush like this from Sigma, and this is their Taper Highlighter E35 brush, and I use it just to highlight it along my high cheekbones there. But that is pretty much the look. I normally get people asking me about my nails, and the nail polish that I have on is by Orly, and it's called Galaxy Girl. I'll probably post it in my haul video so you can see what the bottle looks like and all that fun stuff, but that's what's on my nails. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this other tutorial using the new camera. Isn't this awesome? And if you have any questions, you can post some comments in the information box below. Otherwise, all the products I use in this tutorial will be in my Beauty Chameleon blog post. That would be a link in the information box below, and it'll direct you to my blog, and it'll show you all the products I use, all the nail colors I have on, and all of that fun stuff. But until next time, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!